Hello YouTube and hello Twitch. Happy Saturday, happy weekend. Hope you've all had a fantastic week and are having a great day so far. If anyone has any comments, questions, be sure to drop them in the chat and I will get to them. I wanted to talk a little bit today about a piece of writing that I read that I've been thinking about that I really liked. And what was written is by Jon Hassell. And he's an amazing trumpet player, composer, engineer, sound man. He did a lot of work with a couple of people I really look up to, including Daniel Lenoir and Brian Eno, amongst others. And what Jon Hassell had to say is, say yes to the first thing you think of or touch as if it were a gift. Start with that color or that word. Free yourself from the hyperopia habit of always looking beyond the obvious. So I had to look up the word hyperopia. Hyperopia means farsightedness. It means you can't see things that are in front of you. It's a medical term, talking about our eyes. So he was saying to get rid of always looking past what's right in front of us. Basically is what that last sentence means. And I love this quote so much because it forces us to honor our intentions, whether we are aware of those specific intentions or not. And it forces us to truly be in the moment. It forces us to do that. If you pick up an instrument and you play, the first thing that comes out, go with it. If you're forcing yourself to do that, that's an exercise that I have not practiced too much personally, and I think a lot of people maybe not have practiced it too much personally. It's really easy for us to disregard beginnings. It's really easy to say, okay, this isn't good enough. I'm just playing some junk right now to get into something that is good enough later. But I think this forced exercise is great for us. Oops, got too much light in there. I think there are... Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. I was talking with a friend earlier today. Today was a great thing. I slept way longer than I had anticipated, and I woke up and I realized that I was scheduled to have a phone conversation with a friend who I haven't spoken with for a very long time. So as we were talking, it was great to catch up with her. It was a great conversation. And I said something that kind of surprised myself, and I told her that I was really interested in kind of like music that was slowed down, or maybe minimal music, or whatever word you want to put to it. Maybe not as much happening as other styles of music. I said, otherwise I get confused. I miss stuff. Talking about like a pop song, right? And then that got me thinking, you know what? There are many different ways of listening. You can listen to a sum. Here's a piece of music. Here's a 3-minute pop song on the radio, right? And there are many parts working together to create a larger part. Or you can maybe listen to a part. What if there's only one part playing? Can you break that part down and listen to its elements? Can you listen to its dynamics, its intensity? What about the tonal color? How does the tone sound? This is also a visual thing too. What's the tonal? What's the color of the painting? What's the space or the rhythm of the piece? Is there a lot of space on the canvas? Is there a lot of space in our ears? Maybe the space is defined in such a way that it is regular or rhythmic in nature, to where you can perceive a specific pattern, either time or visual. And after I got off the phone with my friend, I started playing guitar, and I just played this 3-note chord, and I was like, man, this sounds so amazing. Not because I'm an amazing guitar player, but because sound is amazing. So I was playing each note, try to make them as even as possible. And I was trying to accent certain notes. Then I was playing with the volume of the notes. Then I was playing with the space in between the notes. I think there's a lot of interest that can come from something seemingly simple. Right? That was the first chord I touched. It was 3 notes. Simple. But I went with it. And it kind of leads me into my next point, that obvious is okay. Right? Jon Hassell said, free yourself from the hyperopia habit of always looking beyond the obvious. And that's because obvious is okay. And why is obvious okay? Because it is the perfect beginning. It is the perfect starting point. It is the perfect foundation. It is the bedrock that we can build on. Because why? Because everyone agrees on obvious. If it's obvious, that means everyone understands it. So that is the perfect foundation for us to build on. So, from this foundation of obviousness, the trick then is to mold it, spend time with it, play with it, adjust it. Become dedicated to the process of creating something from the obvious. You've got the first thing that you touched, the first sound that you heard, that note. Commit to working with it. What can you do with it? What can you do with it? Put in the time and allow it to show you what it can do. Obvious is not the enemy here. A lack of developing the obvious is the enemy. And it kind of makes me think. I'm glad you like that, Emery. It kind of makes me think. I've heard this a bunch. I don't know the exact quote, but the thought is, it's easy to make a simple idea seem complex, but it's difficult to make a complex idea seem simple. Complex ideas made simple are obvious. So, I hope this was enjoyable. As always, I've got some links to some music that I've recently released. I didn't do a full moon music piece this month, and I'm thinking that I will maybe restart that sometime in the future, but right now it's nice not to do that because it's allowing me the time to develop other ideas that I have. It's nice not being on such a specific schedule. Anyways, there's some music in there. There's also a Venmo in there. If anybody liked this and would like to donate some funds, that's much appreciated. Regardless, I'm here every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And there's going to be some links popping up to some music that I did. Like, share, subscribe. That all helps out with the algorithm. And I think I will see you all later. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And be well.